What's up everyone? Welcome to my channel. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. It's just like life just constantly hits me with curveballs and I'm just like over it. Anyway, today I have a very special video for you guys. I feel like when this happened to me, I was searching the internet and I couldn't find anything about it. Not that I couldn't find anything about it, but there weren't any videos like this one. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so first and foremost, I did not think that I had COVID when I first started getting sick. When I tell you that I had like the most mild symptoms ever, I'm not even joking. In the beginning. So it all started out with a sore throat, and not even like a sore throat, but kind of just like a scratchy sort of feeling in my throat, sort of like it was dry. Like I would swallow my spit and it was like ugh, it's kind of dry. So it felt like that for a couple days. And then my husband told me that he started feeling like his skin was sunburned, which was so weird. He felt like that for maybe 2 days. Other than that, like it was fine. So then we were just like, you know, normal, kind of just like, okay, you know what? We're sick. Let's kind of like, you know, stay home until we figure out kind of like what's going on. Like, let's see if these symptoms progress. And then after that, my husband got like a weird symptom that I didn't even know about. And then I looked it up like later on, and apparently it's not that it's common, but like it does happen. And it was pink eye, like a viral pink eye. Usually pink eye is like bacterial, but this was like a viral pink eye, and it lasted for about 2 to 3 days, but it was just so weird. So while he was having like these two really weird symptoms, I was just having like a scratchy sore throat. And then I progressively started getting like, you know, some sneezing and like a runny nose. And then a couple days like went by and I started coughing a lot. Like I noticed that I started to develop a cough. But even still, I was like, you know what? I've been doing everything that the CDC says. When I tell you that I was doing everything right, like everything right. I did not leave my house. Like I barely left my house during this time. And like throughout the whole year that the pandemic was happening, I was out. I was like, you know, I had my mask, I washed my hands, blah, blah, blah. But like I was out doing stuff and I didn't get anything. And then it was like, when I was home, when I was not like hanging out with anyone, when I wasn't doing anything, I get COVID. The end of my first trimester is when I got COVID. And obviously, you know, being my first pregnancy and all, and being in a pandemic, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God. Well, when I found out that it was COVID. But at first I was like trying to have all this wishful thinking and I was like,
you know what, maybe it's just a cold, like, you know, I'm sure it's okay. You know, it's March. Like, people get sick in March. Not everything has to be COVID.
And that's kind of like how my mindset was. And like I said, then I developed, you know, some sneezing, runny nose, a cough. And I was still kind of like, all right, you know, this is kind of like a cold. I did not have a fever. I never had a fever, actually, throughout that whole entire process. Never had a fever. My husband never had a fever. He also started to develop like, you know, a cough and a runny nose, but then that was it. And then one day, like after coughing for about like 3 days, I was having like a massive cough attack the night before. I was just like not feeling good in my chest. Like it was just a lot of pressure from coughing so much. And then in the morning, I was just like, oh my God, like I barely slept. I had like so much phlegm and just coughing a lot. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the ER just because I really just want to go and get checked out. So I went to the ER, which by the way, I wouldn't have gone to the ER if COVID wasn't in the back of my mind. You know, like if everything that people have said about COVID wasn't like, you know, just taunting me in my head, because I was like, oh my God, what if like I have fluid in my lungs? What if the baby isn't getting enough oxygen? Maybe I'm not getting enough oxygen. Like, oh my God, what if something's wrong with the baby? Blah, 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 like everything. And obviously at that point in my pregnancy, I couldn't feel my baby kick because it was just way too early. And I was just like, oh my God, like what is going on, you know? So I went to the ER, and like I said, I wouldn't have normally gone if I wasn't pregnant and if I wasn't super scared about everything that everybody told me about COVID. But I went to the ER and literally got in, and I swear to you, they checked if I had a temperature, which I didn't. Then they checked how much oxygen I was getting, which I was getting 98% of oxygen, which is really good. And they checked like my lungs and stuff like that. Like they were listening to see if there was any like fluid or any like whatever, and totally fine. Didn't even check the baby. Like they were just like, oh no, like baby's fine. But like, yeah, you know, you have COVID, but baby's fine. And you're gonna be fine. Like you just need to push through it. And I was like, what? Like that's it? That's it. It literally was like the shortest ER trip of my life. I literally went in there and they just like shooed me out. Basically, they were just like, yeah, like you're gonna be all right. Like you can breathe, you're good, no fever, you're gonna be fine. And I was just like, yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, because when I was in high school, I was like diagnosed with asthma. Nothing crazy, but you know, I was using an inhaler. I think it was called like Pro Air or something. I wasn't like crazy asthmatic, but I was diagnosed with asthma. And I was just like, you know, I have like this pre-existing condition or whatever, which by the way, I don't even know if asthma goes away after a couple of years. Like if you have asthma once, do you have it forever? Like, I don't know. Because I haven't had any sort of like asthma attacks in years, but I did have it when I was in high school. So I don't know. Maybe they weren't even asthma attacks. Maybe they were like panic attacks. I don't know. Anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, so then I told her that like I had asthma or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they literally, like I said, kind of like shooed me out. Like, girl, you're fine. And we're like, here's an inhaler if you need it. If you really feel like you need it. So I was like, okay. Well, that was a waste of my time. Because I went at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I could have just gone back to sleep and just sucked it up with my cough. Because basically what was happening with my cough was just that I was coughing so much that I was putting so much pressure on my chest that pressure of coughing so much was what was hurting. Like I wasn't having actual chest pains because my lungs were like messed up or whatever. No, it was just because I was coughing so hard, I like made my whole chest sore from coughing. Anyway, I came home and I lay down in bed, which, what they did say in the hospital was that you should not be laying down your whole entire day. Like, even if you're tired, rest for a little bit and then get up and walk around. Then rest for a little bit, get up and walk around and do stuff. Like, you should not be laying down in bed all day, because that is when problems start to happen. And that's when people can get pneumonia. And that's what was happening with a lot of COVID patients. So she told me, like, listen, just, I know you're probably going to be tired, like being pregnant and having COVID. I know that you're going to be tired, but just don't lay down for extended periods of time. Like, don't just be a vegetable for the next couple days. Before that, I wasn't really laying down in bed anyway. Like, I would lay down on the couch for a little bit, but I have like a reclining couch, so I wasn't fully like flat laying down, even though you're not supposed to be flat laying down when you're pregnant, by the way. Don't know if you knew that, but if you didn't, now you know. So then I came home and, you know, everything was fine. I just drank a lot of orange juice and I started to take some zinc as well. And, I forgot to mention, I did lose my taste and smell, and that was the absolute worst thing ever. Out of all of my symptoms, out of everything I went through, losing my taste and smell was the most horrible part of the entire thing, because you literally don't want to eat. Like, nothing. You lose all appetite to eat. I lost 3 pounds by having COVID because I just didn't want anything, like, and everything that I ate was just so weird to me because everything was texture focused. So imagine eating a banana and all you can like have is the texture, like then there's no flavor. It's just weird, and things would just gross me out. Like I was like, oh my God, like I can't. And this was literally the only time in my pregnancy that I threw up, was because I didn't want to eat. And like, obviously it's not like I was trying not to eat, like I wanted to eat, but there was just like nothing that was appealing to me. And then I had gone that morning to like lunchtime without eating anything, and my baby was like, excuse me, you're gonna eat. So she like, it was like she made me skip the whole nauseous point. Like, didn't even get a chance to be nauseous for like 15 minutes or anything. I didn't even get that long of a warning. Hey mom, you may want to eat something because if not, I'm gonna make you throw up. No, it was just like, all right, I need to eat. Okay, you're gonna go throw up right now. Literally how it was. I had to run upstairs to the bathroom and throw up because I really didn't feel well. And then I was like, okay, I think I need to eat something. So I went and I made like a quick, bowl of chicken noodle soup, and I ate that and I was totally fine. But again, it was just like, just so crappy not being able to taste anything, like nothing. Oh, my eyelashes are sticking together. And that totally sucked. Like, losing your taste and your smell sucked. And then after those like 2-3 weeks, I think it was, of not having my taste and my smell, I finally started to get it back, and it was just like a little bit at a time. And even now, I got COVID in March. We are about to be in August. And even now, like, I got my taste and my smell back, I would say 100%, but some things are kind of distorted. If that makes any sense. Some things are really freaking weird. Like, for the longest time, and I know that this is going to sound crazy, but for the longest time, my dogs would go outside. And you know how when your dogs are outside for a little bit, they come inside and they have like that dog smell, or like that wet dog smell? Well, that wet dog smell for me smelled like Greek yogurt. And I don't know why. Like, they just smelled like Greek yogurt, like plain ass Greek yogurt. And it was just not good. I was like, oh my God, like, you guys smell disgusting. And then I had to wait for like that smell to kind of die down before I could even be around them, because it was just so nasty, like so gross. Right now it's gotten a little bit better. Some things to me, like, I don't know what's going on. So I guess technically my taste and my smell is not 100%, but it's pretty darn close. So whatever. I read that, sometimes your taste and your smell could be distorted when it's like trying to just fully recuperate itself, and that it's a good sign that you are on the road to recovery. So that's good. I am hoping that by the end of this year, I will have everything in tip-top shape and everything will be 100% back to normal. But as of right now, I am so grateful for what I have, because going from nothing to this is a huge improvement. Like, I can actually eat my food and savor it and love it and smell most things, and they're like absolutely normal. There just are those few little things that are a little bit weird, but that's okay. I'll take it. Overall, the experience of having COVID while being pregnant was not horrible for me. I know that so many people have had family members that have died. You know, they have had coworkers that have passed, friends, like everything. So I don't know. I guess I am just very, very, very grateful for my experience that, you know, being pregnant, already having your immune system kind of like compromised, so to speak, because you know, you're building human life, that takes a lot out of you. So already being like low in the immune system category and it affecting me as mildly as it did, you know, I am incredibly grateful for that. However, I do know that it's not the same for everyone, just like pregnancy is not the same for everyone, COVID isn't going to be the same for everyone. But I would say that if you are healthy overall, I think that, you know, you're going to be just fine. I think that stressing about it and worrying about it is doing way more harm than good, because I used to stress about it a lot and it did nothing for me. It did absolutely nothing for me, because when it did come for me and when it did happen, I dealt with it and I got through it. And to be completely honest, I have been sicker than that, like from a cold in high school. I have, 100%. Minus the whole losing taste and smell, because that has never happened to me before. And that was like, whoa, super crazy. Super, super crazy. But my biggest advice from going through all of this is what that nurse told me, and that is to just not lay down all day, you know, keep on doing your same normal activity, just obviously like take it easy, rest a little bit, but don't spend your whole entire week or 2 weeks just laying down in bed and then getting up and being totally fine. Like that's not good for you. You have to maintain some sort of physical activity so your body isn't like fully shut down. And yeah, that's that. Oh, this, I'm not sure if it's true because I keep on hearing contradicting sides of it. But when I went to the ER, the nurse told me like, oh, your baby is going to get all the antibodies, blah, blah, blah. I've had my midwife also tell me like, oh my gosh, you know, I know that it sucks that you went through that, but at least your baby gets the antibodies and this and that. So I'm just like, okay, like cool, my baby's going to have antibodies from COVID. But then I hear other people say that, like, no, that's not true. Just because you get sick with COVID, you know, it doesn't fully transfer to your baby, like the antibodies. And I'm just like, okay, so who's right here? I don't know. But I can tell you that the baby is super healthy. My midwife said that there's absolutely nothing to worry about. I mean, that should be great news for everyone to hear. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, I'm so sorry that it took so long for me to make a video, and I'm going to try to get back into a more normal schedule. Life has definitely been a little crazy, but I am going to be doing the best I can. And thank you to all of my new subscribers. I really do appreciate all of you. And if you haven't done so already, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.